Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Milena's gonna model here for you guys. Alright, saying nothing. I've talked a lot about my dad, I've talked a lot about things. I've let it out of my system as much as I can for now. I'm gonna be very upset when the funeral service is, definitely, but I am getting it out of my system on YouTube and letting it out and making sure I say things about it so people know how good he was. I will have videos to follow with him performing in them. He was so good. He should have been famous on his own. So I'm going to have those out for you guys if you know him, or you just like him because you're younger and you see someone that, like, when he was young, he looked like a young Channing Tatum. So I mean, he was obviously a different type of performer, but I mean, he played the accordion. But I mean, you'll see what I mean. And I have a video up if you search Marco DC Dad, and look for the one where he's 60 years old in it, and he looks like a superstar, like a real superstar. So, I mean, I wish he became famous, but I mean, the only good thing about it is that if I become famous, I'll know how much it will be worth more for me, because I never had a family that had the riches that famous people had, and I grew up learning lessons, valuable lessons. I learned how to make do with less and not having a ton of stuff and not being, spoiled rotten. So, I mean, you learn that way. It makes you learn a lot quicker. You don't, I mean, nobody likes to live that way, but if you're a child and you have all these things given to you, you might not be able to be as successful as an adult, or you might, obviously, it's a good chance that you will, but there are times where you don't, because you're handed these things and you don't know how to take care of yourself, and you're just like, well, if my parents give this to me, then I could just take and take and take, and some people never grow out of that. So it is something that I learned, having less. Having less, you learn a lot more. I don't think I mean, obviously, rich people learn a lot too and stuff, but if you're spoiled as a child, you might not grow out of that, and you might need people to take care of you more. But when you grow up being poor, and you become rich as a celebrity type because you earn it, you appreciate it more. I mean, I'm gonna always appreciate it because I earned it. Once I'm famous, I earned it. So for me, it's not something that I take lightly or for granted. And it's something that I really, like, I never grew up rich. So, I mean, and the only difference between rich and poor is that you have a nicer home and nicer things, but really it's the same thing. You're not really that much different. But it's just that I'll have these things in place, and I'll have all these things in place for me, and I'll be spoiled, which I'm not used to. I'm not used to. I do everything all the time for myself. So I mean, for me, I mean, growing up I had help, obviously, but for me now, I do everything for myself, and take. Obviously I'm 41, but you're not going to be 41, and I mean, some people are 41 and don't take care of themselves, but obviously I'm older, so I'm going to take care of myself. But I mean, all my YouTube channel props and everything that I've had on there have been bought by me. So I don't have anyone spoiling me. Like you might see someone on TV that gets everything handed to them and stuff. And I mean, everyone lives life the way they want, right? Or they have the way they live. I mean, for a long time I've been saying things like, I'm not judgmental, I'm not judging, but when something like this happens, you really have to just stop and say, it's time to not even say that, really. I mean, I'm obviously going to still say that, but I mean, you have to really live it. Rather than just saying you're not going to be judging, you have to really live it. And I'm really kind of, my dad was so nice. He was always so nice. So I really learned a lot from my parents, and they gave me all the tools I need to be a successful star and celebrity type. So I'm really grateful. And thank you to my fans, and thank you to all the people that were there for me in this time. People called out, reached out to me. I'm really grateful that people did that. And remember, guys, I'm still the fun, loving, entertaining person, all about fun. But this is a difficult time, so I wanted to share that with you guys. But I'm always, like, my dad had lost his dad, and he was performing and really happy. So I mean, it's just something that you might go through. Everyone goes through this type of thing, obviously. Like, everyone loses their parents. I'm still the fun, fun person that you always see, but I mean, it's just a grieving period that I'll get over. And it's a really hard time. I was really having a hard time sleeping last night. I'm like, oh my God. But I'll get over that, I know. But yes, so, I mean, I think seeing my dad at the funeral service was really, really tough. That's what I'll have a hard time with. But, I mean, overall, his life was legendary. He really did a good job. Everybody loved him. He couldn't have lived a better example for his performing. So really grateful to that. His brothers will be grateful. All the family that knows him and all of his friends and all the people that knew him growing up, like that he had grown up with, and everything. They all knew him and they valued him. And all of his friends were younger. I mean, he looked like a 50-year-old. So all of his friends were younger and his girlfriend was younger. So I mean, he left a good mark on the world, and I'm gonna make sure that with those videos that he did, I'm gonna post them up on my channel, and I'm really proud of him for what he did, what he accomplished. And it's really tough for me, but I mean, I'll get through, and I'm very lucky to have people that are around me to support me and everything like that. Thank you all very much for watching. Click that subscribe button, everybody. Mileena is obviously a mega talent, as you can see, looking beautiful as usual. I really make sure that I do a dazzling show. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I hope you guys like it. I mean, I really do a good job for you guys. Thank you. Bye now.